What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Chat, I know we're in the past. This is going to be for the future. This is how YouTube works. If you guys know, on Sundays, we do the same thing every single week. Q&As. We've got people hanging at twitch.tv/Lawler. We stream every day, but Tuesday and Sunday. That's why we can do this video, because we're, in the past. You guys get it. But we're on Q&A number 44. 44 weeks of doing this. You guys are crazy. If you guys want to have your questions answered, as always, comment down below. The ones that are the most liked go to the top. Those are the ones we talk about. Or you can skip the queue and join the lovely people in chat. I try to alternate between both, give a little bit of interaction, and sometimes it's an easier way. So come join us. Twitch.tv/Lawler every day but Tuesday and Sunday. We usually stream about like 2 in the afternoon. But we got to go through this quickly. We got a show match between G2 and FaZe coming out for the Brawl. Looking forward to that. So with that said, let's transition to the other screen and see what questions YouTube's got for us today. The first one comes from 890, says for Q&A 43. Well, this was 43. This was 44. What if teams had team stadiums, like a yellow and black galactic rocket themed map for Space Station? It'd be super cool. I do think home stadiums and stuff. I think the best example, if you guys haven't seen Super Mario Strikers coming to the Switch, they do kind of have that iteration where half the field is for Bowser, the other half is for Mario kind of situation. Super cool. It's cool to have that personalization. The thing you have to be careful of is in a game like Rocket League, different fields can definitely distract and cause complications. So there is some ways you could approach it, but for the most part, I wouldn't be upset about having like team-based stadiums. My idea for LAN location stuff would be better, in my opinion. I think they should build maps based upon where LANs are. So like if there's a world championship in a certain area, like for example, I would like to have like a Dallas, Texas stadium and have them build a map based upon the area of LAN for the world championship. I think stuff like that would be super cool. I think if they could do that once a year, make it really unique. So when you are watching the games, it says if you're at LAN, and if they start to include like VR tickets and stuff like that, oh, it'd be sick. It'd be so cool. But yeah, in the future, I wouldn't mind having a team stadium based stuff. I'm okay with it. I think it'd be super cool. Yeah, I would like them to have like world championship location stadiums. I think it'd be super cool. And I don't know if there's any like legality behind it that they'd have to worry about it, but it'd be sick. Imagine like it's the grand finals at the season 2021-2022 World Championship, and you're pulling up at SoFi Stadium and stuff. Oh, it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. But I don't know if that's possible, legal, but that's my idea. I think that'd be sick. Dylan says, what are your thoughts on strategy coaches in Rocket League and their impact on teams? I hear a lot of things from other players and fans about how these type of coaches aren't that necessary. These people have no idea what they're talking about. That aren't necessary in Rocket League compared to games like League and CS, and that teams in Rocket League really just need a mentality hype coach. As for Fallout, do you think Rocket League should make it a requirement for each team to have a coach to reflect professionalism in the esport? No, I don't think you should ever require a team to have something. Just to answer that, that is entirely up to pros, teams, players, staff, if they deem it. Like if I'm a professional organization and I see there's value in that and I think it's going to help, then sure, like 100%. I think if we can justify the means and the cost, I mean, case in point is Dignitas. Dignitas does not have an in-game like play style coach, or what do you have, a strategy coach as you've deemed it, but they do have a mental coach, someone that helps them keep their highs and lows, keeps them at a good base level, and you can kind of see the impact of that. They have yet to make it first in their group. They dropped to lowers. They got to battle through the lower bracket 7 matches, and they've done pretty dang well. Probably going to go to the major as long as they, I think, placed like top 12 or top 8 or whatever it is. So there is the argument between things like having a mental coach being of more value. But I can also argue, if you look at version 1, for example, they literally joke about how Fireburner had downloaded the strategies on how to beat other teams by being able to sit with his team and actually watch replay reviews and stuff. He said he taught his team, this is what you need to do to beat Complexity, to beat G2, to beat Energy. These are the things you need to do to win. So there is value 100% both. Anybody who is not a player or coach at a high level in the professional play, looking at you fans, have no idea of what actually goes into it, myself included. So to discredit the importance of what a strategy coach is, it's difficult because there is no one size fits all. Different teams, different players are going to need different things. And that in itself has value as a coach. So what your coach is supposed to do, we'll see. Unrelated RL question. How do you keep the work ethic to stream almost every day and upload videos daily? You've been doing it for ages, and I'm interested in how you keep up your consistency. I just cry a lot, huddle in a ball, and just cry. You don't seem to let it stress you out or upset your mood. Any tips, routines, philosophies? This is a tough one because I do struggle with it. I think everybody, anytime they are doing something to this extent, is tough. It's a grind for sure. And I think that's part of the thing I've accepted. Part of the reason why I'm able to do it as much as I do. First and foremost, I have an editor. Shout out to Wojtek. Without him, I would not be putting out daily videos. I used to stay up until 4 a.m. every day, making thumbnails, editing, uploading, all that kind of, it's stuff I couldn't do. And I think it initially starts with motivation. For me personally, after I got let go of the RLCS, I had a clear decision of what do I do to make sure I never go back to a 9-to-5 desk job. It's not an environment for me. And part of that was grinding content and putting myself in a position to be able to support myself. So that motivation is part of the reason why I still do it. There's also like a desire to do it, while casting and stuff is where my passion and my hobby is. It's what I love to do. Doing it every day and everything else, it definitely stresses you. It burns you out. There's the mental toll. There's, the trolls and stuff that, talk ish every once in a while and stuff. Like that stuff takes a load on you. I've been doing it for 7 years, almost 6 or 7 years. And it definitely takes its toll. But at the end of the day, it beats doing other thing. So there is times, and I've talked about it on my stream before, where there's certain weeks where it's just like my mentality's in the gutter. I feel like imposter syndrome. Like there's certain doubts that you have for sure. But ultimately, the work ethic thing, I've never had an issue with. I've always worked hard and been ambitious and had that like entrepreneur mentality of how can I better myself? Like I want to retire by the time I'm 45. And I'm investing heavily and working a ton now. I mean, you can ask any of my like moderators. You can ask most of my IRL friends. I work way too much. I work like 100 hours a week based upon the different projects I'm doing, scripting and preparing YouTube videos. We're doing the Brawl today. I'm also a commentator. I cast like 6 different things. I'm doing sponsorships. Like I do way too much work and I know it, and it's burning me out heavily, but I figure I'm going to do it now. So hopefully long-term I can sustain myself. So I'm young and I understand that, and I'm hoping that by putting in all this time and effort now, it pays off in the future. Part of the reason why I'm able to do it though is because of you people. If you guys don't watch my videos, if you guys aren't leaving comments, I mean, understand 44 weeks of nonstop questions that don't get repetitive is pretty crazy. So I greatly appreciate y'all for it. And part of the motivating factor too is you guys kind of will it into existence. Is Oxygen a potential top 4 team? Adding Gimmick has helped them grow their team, and they've looked amazing. However, their track record against top 3 this season hasn't been the greatest. Do I think Oxygen is a top 4 team? No, nor will they ever be, in my opinion. That is not to discredit Oxygen. I think what they've done with Gimmick has been incredible. I think LJ and Toasty are doing a great job. But I think we are in an age of Rocket League where there is going to be teams that just have more skill or better skilled players. And by comparison's sake, I'm not saying that Oxygen is bad. I am just saying that the teams in the top have better talent. They are just better as a unit and as individuals. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've also seen, though, Oxygen be a team that was struggling to make top 16, plug in one new player, and all of a sudden they're a consistent top 8 team. There is massive contrast with one player when your team is 3 and everybody is super important. It's also why I have a hard time saying these are the best players. These are my top 20 list when you see the impact one player has with a team. So Oxygen to me is not a top 4 team, nor will they ever be, in my opinion. That's a bold take. I think they can be competitive against some of those top teams, but I mean, you look at their track record. I think they have it's like a 12% win rate or something ridiculous against top 3 teams. That is their like threshold. Their ceiling is they will make top 6. Beating those top teams is going to take something special, and I don't know what it is. I would expect to see someone like LJ poached and brought to another top tier roster first before they make that difference. What the changes need to happen, who they would need to bring in and stuff to elevate them even more, I have no idea. But I think Oxygen is at their peak when they're top 6, maybe top 4. Do I think they're capable of an upset? Yeah, without a doubt. They've done it over Space Station. You know, they bring teams like that to 5. But in best of 7s against the energies, the phases, the G2s, they struggle. They definitely struggle. So yeah, I think they're kind of at their cap, and possibly, you know, maybe they change that in time. But as of right now, I just don't see it happening. Kind of a low question. How would teams go about trying out players from different regions on the roster? I actually don't know how this one works out. Personally, this is just me not knowing. I would assume that they play internationally. This one is more of a feeling, I think. When players who are very respectable, understand international transfers are very rare. Very, very rare. The difficulty is that you have to be a large standout player in order to even be in consideration of an international transfer. I mean, you look at Turbo Pulsa, he's a 4-time world champ, 3-time world champ at the time that Energy approaches him. There's some merit to him being good. Drippe was the best player in OCE when EG approached him. Those are the only 2 times. There's been rumors of potentially Kronovi going to Flipside Tactics after season 1. He won a world championship and was notably one of the best players in the world at the time. You've seen Kronovi approached by possibly Garrett being approached to go over to Europe as well. So you're talking high profile, but I would assume that they trial them or they practice with them with high ping just to get a general, like, how do things vibe? How do things look? But honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe they take the risk. Maybe the organization flies them out. They scrim for a little bit, see how it goes. But yeah, it's definitely a risk anytime you do that stuff. So without a doubt. Do I think Rocket League will ever be supported on Linux natively again? Probably not. No. I think it's just too complicated for developers. It's a pain in the butt. And like just trying to coordinate it is not a thing. You gotta talk about like allocation of effort and how many people it's gonna impact. Mac, PC, you know, like Linux just kind of gets thrown to the side. Hados Play says, this question has probably been asked, but do you think there will be more things for clans? I have been advocating for Club Q for years. As soon as clubs were implemented, I've been like advocating for Club Q. You can go back and even watch my like how to fix Rocket League videos. It's one of the first things I talk about. This is also something that was originally implemented back in like alpha beta, where there was team-based queue. We have had solo standard. We have standard where you can queue with 2 or less. But we have not had a dedicated where you have to queue with 3 people. And I don't know why that is. The competitive scene is solely based on 3v3. Like professional RLCS plays 3v3. So why not have a queue that is dedicated for 3v3 and use the system you have in-game with clubs and use that for your competitive ladder? I don't know why that's not a thing. I understand allocating and having 3 people dedicated is a little bit tougher, and it's definitely for like a high-level mentality. But I think giving people a foundation to like say, hey, this is the standard. This is literally what you're playing for if you want to go pro. This is the queue for it. I think they should definitely incentivize. And then you can do like rank titles and all that kind of crazy stuff. But having like leagues in game, I think would be super cool. I do think clans should be fleshed out more. I think hopefully, like you said, with Unreal Engine 5, they get a little bit more freedom to adjust and make some certain things. Because I agree, clans right now are kind of pointless. If you are a notable one, then you get a little check mark that says that, hey, you are the pro team that you are. But like it just definitely feels like a kind of forgotten about feature. So I am hoping that they improve it. But the one thing that I want is team-based queues. Dedicated, you must be a team of 3. You have to queue with those 3 people. You don't have individual MMR. You have a team MMR. And anytime you change the 3 players playing, then your MMR changes again. You can create a roster of X amount of people, and you have to play so many matches at that rank in order to get associated to it. But yeah, there is a hope that happens with Club Q. Double downing on UE5. I keep hearing all this talk about Unreal Engine 5, but nothing about when we can expect it. So we don't know. You're talking the transition to another engine is a massive project, especially a physics-based game, making sure everything stays the same. I've done a video on this where we talk about with Lethemir, Unreal Engine 5, what it can mean, what it could do. But you're talking transferring a game to a completely different engine it's such a, they have to basically rebuild the game from scratch. It's complicated. So how much it's going to be, how long it's going to be, I don't know. 1 year, 5 years, who knows? I can tell you the employees at Psyonix have gone from like 18 to 200 plus. They're also working and are owned directly by the people who make the engine in Epic Games. So there is some positive things. There is some progress being made, but when? I don't know. I don't even think we were supposed to know about the Unreal Engine 5 transition. but then it got leaked by job postings. So who knows, man? Who knows? It'll take some time. I don't think any of us have any idea when we can expect it. It's gonna be a bit. Chat, I'm gonna talk about this one because it happens all the time in Rocket League. This is not to put Walker on blast in particular. This is a generalization. All right. Walker says, what kind of results would a team like Randoms need to get picked up by an org in the spring or next fall? Hate to break it to you guys, but this happens every single time. A team like DVS or Integrity or Randoms or some team people basically have never heard of makes main event. They have that god tier run and they make main event. And everybody's like, wow, Lawler, why don't you have any validity to them? Why don't you give them credit on your power ranking? Why don't you do this kind of stuff? And it's because they've only done it once. It is an outlier. It is not a consistent thing. If I'm an organization, I want to look at a team like Vibrance, which is now a crew, or a team that has proven over numerous months that they're going to be in the conversation on the main broadcast, making main event and getting wins. I don't want this random one-off team that was slopped together that just surprised people. I want them to be able to consistently show me week in and week out that they are a top 16 team. And the difficulty is that people see this new hot commodity and they're like, all right, yo, when are they getting picked up? What justification is for them to get picked up? They had a good result. One good result. Now they are going to sit and wait for 2 months until spring. Can they show me that after 2 months, they're still grinding, they're still working hard, they're still trying to stay informed, they're still making adjustments, so when spring hits, they don't just get forgotten about? Because that happened with Integrity. It happened with DVS. Now NXT or whatever it is, or NZT or whatever the heck they're called. Same situation. They took some rosters, put them together, and they're still not making the main event. While people want them to get picked up because Randoms did have a very good result, there's no justification for it. NXT is DVS. It's DVS and another team meshed together. They basically combined it. The results are the same. They're still not performing well, in my opinion. And that's not to be harsh on them, but my base level is top 16. You got to make the main event. If you want notoriety, if you want to get paid, got to be top 16. DVS, yeah, it was DVS Integrity. Okay. So yeah, DVS Integrity merged and the results are still the same. Nothing's changed. They rebranded and, I mean, let's look at the rankings. They're 17th. They're tied for 17th, which, credit to them, actually, is right behind Vibrance. So they're almost there. They're almost there. They've made it in once. Got to do it again and again and again. One time is not enough. Randoms had a good performance one time. They're now going to wait all the way until spring. They're not going to the major. They're not going to the World Championship. It's tough. Cookster's Minions would be a team considered consistent to an extent because Cookster's Minions is 0-6. They're 0-6. They've made the main event every single time, but they're 0-6. This is now the third time. Are they going to have it happen to them again? Cookster's Minions was approached by a team. They were going to get picked up by SK Gaming. SK Gaming's offer was but. They didn't take it. But Cookster's Minions has been consistent. They're 0-6 in groups. They have not won a single series. They get in top 16. They go 3, and they go home. They are arguably the most consistent team in Europe, actually. Just not on the right side. Consistently last is not ideal. That's again, they're getting to the main event. They are playing on the mainstream every once in a while. But again, even with that, they got approached by a team. The offer was too low. They didn't take it. That is the kind of stuff that you have to consider. So while Randoms, yes, had a great result, they made it in. They're now going to wait like 2 months until they get another chance at it. And I would not be surprised if either the team has disbanded, those players have gone to other teams, or they don't make it. And if they do, awesome. That is base level, time to progress. So, pretty crazy stuff. Chat, that's going to do it for Q&A number 44. If you guys have additional questions, as always, leave them in the comments down below. I also will try to answer you guys' Q&A throughout the week. Like Nathan will probably answer yours right after this. But if you guys want your questions asked, answered, and possibly in a video, stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, where we stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. Or leave a question down below. If you see one you like, give it an upvote. And speaking of that, if you guys enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn notifications, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, YouTube.